Welcome to my channel. I am Toyotero at Old School Yodas. We are gonna do a oil filter base O-ring today on this 92 MR2 Toyota MR2 3S GTE. There's the kit right there. It comes with two O-rings, the big one and the small one. Oil filter base has been removed, and we're gonna go to work. And we're going to use this 30mm socket that I'm about to drop into the abyss. In a second, you'll see me dropping it. Boom, there it goes. It's gone. Who knows where it went? So let's go to work. Let's take this. There's the nut we got to take out. That nut has to come off. It goes in the center. You're using that tool that I just dropped into the abyss. Goes right in the center. And what I did is I took two 10mm nuts that you will see in the video later. I left the coolant hose attached to the filter base because there's plenty of space to move it around, wiggle it around, and face it upwards. And you'll see in a second when I take the O-rings off. Trying to position the oil filter base in order to take the O-rings off, as you can see right there. This is a Amazon kit, I believe. I don't have a part number. Apologize for that, but you can get them at Amazon, eBay, or a Toyota dealership. This is the inner O-ring, the one that goes in the center, where the plumb bolt goes through. After I put that one on, I'm going to put the outer O-ring on. This takes a lot of patience. I started it with my finger. I move it around. Now I'm going to use this pick. I'm going to use the end of the pick, the 90-degree pick, to kind of press in around. I'm going to go around with it until the O-ring it's inside, because there's like a lip, like an opening where that O-ring sits in. So the easiest way I found out through experience is to use the pick for that. Gotta make sure that it sits correctly, because when you put the bolt through, it can pinch it and it creates a chaotic problem. Here's the big one. I'm gonna put the big one on now. It's the same way, and also put a little bit of oil on it to make it easier to get in there. I put some oil in it, and then start putting it on by hand. And I'm also going to use the pick for this. I'm going to pinch the sides going around on it. So you'll see in a second here. Carefully pinch the outer part of the O-ring into there's I think 6 or 8 little tabs So the O-ring has to go in the tab. So what I'm doing right now is pinching each one slightly into the tab so that it can retain the O-ring in place. Here I'm checking with my fingers to make sure that it's seated correctly, because once I flip that around and put it on the mating surface, I won't be able to see if it was seated correctly. So now's the time to check it. I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of silicone on the area where the two 10mm bolts go. 10mm nuts. You'll see when I clean them up in a minute. I'm going to be cleaning them up and putting them on. So I want to put silicone back in there, make sure that doesn't leak. Gently turn the oil filter base and face it downwards. This can be a little bit tricky, but I got it done. Always remember that that water, that coolant hose is still attached to it. And also when it goes back in, make sure you align the two studs where the nuts go. Here is the big nut, the 30mm nut, and make sure that washer is in place. Clean everything real good. Make sure there's no obstacles inside, and you can blow through it with some compressed air. Start it by hand, of course, and then use that 30mm nut socket and tie it by hand. And then that nut has to be torqued, which I'll show you in a second here. Here I'm using some compressed air to clean the area real good, make sure there's no debris, and then I'm going to clean it with some brake cleaner. Also, the fact that this was leaking real bad, you want to make sure that you clean the area just in case, to make sure that it's not leaking anymore. You can use brake cleaner, fuel, whatever your choice of cleaner. I always use brake cleaner because it evaporates fairly quick, and use some compressed air to clean the area. There's the old O-ring. Here are the two 10mm nuts. I am cleaning them with brake cleaner before I put them back because they were very dirty. Make sure they're clean. Make sure you don't drop them inside a turbocharger. That will be a bad day in the neighborhood. So I'm going to clean everything off. All the brake cleaner is spilled everywhere, and make sure your area is clean. There's no debris. I'm going to put those two 10mm nuts back in place. They go in the back part of the oil filter base. They attach to the dump, the oil dump. It goes back into I believe it goes back into the oil pan. Here I'm trying to show you guys where the location of those two 10mm nuts. I don't have the camera aiming correctly, but I'm gonna go ahead and tie them up. I'm not going to use this tool to tie them up all the way. That's not suggested. You use that, I use that, and then I'll tie them by hand. Here is a torque wrench, 1/2-inch torque wrench. I am going to torque them to 50 foot-pounds. The 130 millimeter nut. It's very important. That's torqued. Don't just tie it with your hand. That's not going to work. You can over tie it or leave it to loose. 50 foot-pounds. I'm showing you the 50 foot-pounds of torque applied to that center 30 millimeter nut. Two hours later. One eternity later. Please take your oil filter and put some oil around the O-ring on the oil filter. Make sure it's not dry. Use a K&N filter for longevity, and tie it. Do not tie it with a torque wrench or with a wrench or anything like that. Just tie it by hand. That's what I was been doing all my life. Make sure it's seated right and it's not double gasket and all that good stuff, so you don't have a massive oil leak. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Toyotero says, have a good day and goodbye.